If you are furious about the ICE raids that are happening right now, keep scrolling. This video isn't for you. This video is for the people who are celebrating the ICE raids because we need to talk. Hi, I'm Delara. I'm undocumented. I have lived in the US since I was 5 years old, and I have a law degree from one of the best schools in the United States. And I want to start by giving you the benefit of the doubt. You want to feel safe. Maybe you were told a story about how undocumented immigrants are dangerous. Maybe you've
Does she say that she's undocumented? I'm sorry. Let me just rewind this really quickly, because I want to make sure that we're all in the same boat and that we all hearing the same thing.
If you are furious about the ICE raids that are happening right now, keep scrolling. This video isn't for you. This video is for the people who are celebrating the ICE raids because we need to talk. Hi, I'm Delara. I'm undocumented. I have lived in the US since I was
She did say that she was undocumented. Okay, let's continue.
5 years old, and I have a law degree from one of the best schools in the United States. And I want to start by giving you the benefit of the doubt. You want to feel safe. Maybe you were told a story about how undocumented immigrants are dangerous. Maybe you've heard a story about how they are stealing your resources. Maybe you heard a story about how ICE is the hero. But there's a couple of things I just want you to make sure that you know in case you didn't. The first thing that is really important for you to understand is that native-born Americans commit crimes at a higher rate than immigrants. This is not an opinion, it's not a take, it's just data. Even though it's well documented, you don't even have to be that smart to understand. When you commit a crime, you have way less to lose than I do. Because if you commit a crime, maybe you get fined, maybe you spend some time in jail. If an undocumented person commits a crime, they face deportation and being ripped away from their family.
Well, okay, so let's hold off for a second before we get to the rest of this video. I can do what I want to do inside of my house. And I want y'all to be absolutely clear about this, because I keep hearing about this. They commit crimes. I haven't deep dove into the data, but I would assume that it's not based off of per capita. I would also assume that there's more people living inside of the United States of America that are actually legally in the United States of America or native to the United States of America. So that can be skewed a little bit. But I'm not going to deep dive into that part. What I'm trying to understand is, why do y'all keep justifying you doing stuff over here and you say, well, maybe you read this or maybe you read that. You know what I read about? You know what I was covering all last year? Lake and Riley. That Democrats refuse to say their name. And the Lake and Riley Act that Trump made sure that he passed. I was reading about Lake and Riley. I was watching illegal migrants and undocumented people beat the hell out of police officers in New York City. I was watching them sleep inside of the police station in Chicago. I was looking at billions of dollars going into illegal migrants all across the United States of America, and everybody was acting like they didn't see it happening. And I also am aware that you can't do this in any other country inside of on the globe. You can't do it in any country, period. They don't tolerate this. And this is why you see people getting held accountable for what they do in other countries. So what I want y'all to do, honestly, before I read the rest of this video, is stop justifying you doing things that you're not supposed to do, such as coming over into this country illegally. And if you are one of the people that are undocumented, which means that she had a lot of time to get her life together and a lot of time ultimately because she didn't graduate from here and all of this, right? If you are one of the people that were brought over here as a child, then it doesn't mean that your parents are doing the right thing. And just because you've been doing it for a long time does not mean that it's the right thing to do or that you can justify it. If somebody breaks out of prison, if somebody breaks out of jail and they've been free, living an alternative life for their entire life, let's just say for the next 20 years, does that mean that they deserve to stay out of jail, or do they need to go back because it was a reason why we locked them up in the first place? Just because you're on your best behavior, because you out here not trying to get caught, does not mean that you are not doing things that you're supposed to do. And you came over here. If she's saying they commit crimes, for example, if you say that you commit crimes at a much lower rate, I would call you a liar to your face without even having to see the statistics. And the reason that is because every last one of y'all, your mama, your grandmama, anybody that came over here illegally committed the crime a minute that they walked over the border and they didn't do it legally. Can't gaslight me. Oh, they commit crime. Oh, it's certain types of crimes or whatever. They think that just because they talk soft and because they got a lot of followers on TikTok or something like that, that means something to us. That don't mean shit. It's the same standards apply. And they be talking so proud, and I'm undocumented. You couldn't do that in another country. We so soft. We're so soft. That's because we've been coddled and we've been operating under these liberal policies for way too long.
The stakes are completely different. So we are careful in a way that you don't have to be. In fact, communities with a higher immigrant population experience lower crime rates.
It's because you ain't supposed to be here. But to go over to Mexico and see what the crime is over there and see how that play out.
Go figure. Okay, but you might also think that undocumented immigrants are draining the system. And again, you have been lied to, and I'll explain why in a second.
You don't talk about all of the businesses that they created and how much they put into the economy. I get it. I already know.
First, it's really important for you to know that undocumented immigrants pay billions of dollars in taxes every year, including Social Security, which we do not get access to. And on top of that, immigrants are 80% more likely to start a business.
Do you know why this is? Let me add the context. And honestly, this is the first time that I actually seen this video, and I'm reacting to it in real time, right? The reason why they're more likely to start a business is because that's the way that they create a job for themselves. Because most of them that actually work for somebody else, and in most instances, especially if they're the one that cross over into the border, they're working under the table. So we don't even know how much money that they have siphoning off. And I've known and I've seen it play out in front of my eyes in real time how they finesse the system and actually drain more from it than they put into it. The reason why they create these businesses is because they're creating a job for themselves because they're not actually over here legally. That's why. That's it. I'm gonna just let it play
Americans. And over $500 million U.S. startups were founded by immigrants or their kids. So no, we're not draining the system.
Were they legal or were they
building
illegal?
it. So why are you being told these stories about how immigrants are a threat to your safety and your livelihood? That's a good question, and there's a good answer. And it's because fear is profitable. When you're afraid, you're easier to control. Because if you are busy blaming immigrants for your problems, you're not looking up at the people who actually make housing unaffordable. You're not asking, why does an ER visit cost more than my car? Why are billionaires paying less in taxes than my local school teacher? Why did my landlord raise my rent $400 to fix nothing? Because scapegoating immigrants is the oldest trick in the political playbook, and unfortunately, it still works. But it doesn't have to work on you. If you've made it this far, maybe you're not as heartless as people think you are. Maybe you're just waking up. Maybe you were misinformed. And maybe now you're starting to get it. By the way, solidarity would look really good on you.
Listen. If you are in this country illegally, I am all out of compassion. I am all out of sympathy. I am all out of solidarity. I am. Everything that I vote for, I vote selfishly. I vote because this is what's in my best interest and this is what's in my family's best interest. So I am no longer going to be gaslit. I've done that for the first half of my life as a Democrat and a liberal that was raised to be that way until I unlocked myself and jumped off of the plantation. So, soft talking, hard talking, it's all the same to me. Unappreciative. I think that these people are manipulative and they spew these statistics with a false narrative that's behind it without the real context. And it's to finesse you into thinking that something is supposed to be a certain type of way when it's supposed to be that other way. I'm going to need everybody that's supposed to be here, and the people that's not supposed to be here to come on back legally. Or you can stay where you are from once you get deported. Let me know what y'all think inside of the chat. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments.